looks like Teresa's absent, Marker absent, Gentry on Mark absent. Just kidding.
Cameras all good? Awesome. Coach will start with the opening statement and then we'll go into questions, so if you wanna just raise your hand, we'll do that.
Excited for the week. Good to be back at it. I thought we had a energetic bye week and a team that is excited for the challenge ahead on Saturday. It's good to be back home, and you know, this is a great SEC matchup and a great opportunity for us to you know, compete and play in front of our home crowd. So we're looking forward to that. Obviously the challenge is real. LSU is a really good team. They're well coached. They've got good players, good schemes, good systems. And so, you know, we'll have our hands full that way, but we're hard at work on how to best attack them and understand what they do well and what their weaknesses are and put our best effort on the field on Saturday. So a couple injury updates. Drew Dickey is dealing with some cardiac issues, and so he is going to be out for the foreseeable future. We're focused on getting him healthy and feeling good. Obviously that's a priority. And then Van Hinton is going to be having surgery on his ACL. This came out of the bye week. So two guys that'll probably be out for the season. Van Zell for sure with surgery upcoming. Drew in all likelihood, just because we're going to make sure he's you know, healthy. And obviously when you're talking about cardiac issues, you're talking about severe issues. So we're going to take care of him that way. And otherwise, we got some bumps and bruises, but on the whole, I think a healthy and excited team.
Chris?
After you've had a couple weeks off and to go back and watch the Alabama film and maybe self-scout or whatever the term would be, how confident are you that you guys can perform more like you did before than maybe the second half on offense there?
Well, I'm confident we can. That's not to say it's ever going to be easy, you know. So I have all the confidence in the world in our team, and you know, any season, any game, you're going to battle through adversity, and that's what that game was for us, just adversity. And we had opportunities in that game, and we didn't capitalize on those opportunities. Obviously, 2 red zone turnovers hurt. I thought defensively, you know, we probably absorbed a little more time of possession than we would have liked, but I thought we battled to hold field goals in the second half to give ourselves a chance. The second turnover was on a drive that I was certain we were going to go score a touchdown, take the lead in the game in the fourth quarter, you know. So I think with any result, whether a win or a loss, you've got to learn from it, and then you got to move on from it, because the longer you hang on to it, the longer it impacts your process. So we've done that, and again, our formula isn't too different than what it was a year ago. It's, you know, game control offense, point limitation defense, field position through special teams, eliminating the self-imposed negatives, fighting for the ball on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And when we do those things, you know, we're a pretty good team. When we don't, we leave it to chance. And when you play against good opponents, like we're going to face Saturday against LSU, you know, you're kind of fighting an uphill battle at that point. So all the confidence, a lot of learning from that game, and we've taken it, we've moved on from the result, and now our energy is focused on LSU.
Graham?
Cedric Alexander talked about how, you know, the team is even hungrier than before after the Alabama loss. So from your view, what have you seen in terms of how the team has gotten more determined and more hungrier since then?
I mean, I've been pleased with how we've responded. I think we came out and had a spirited bye week. I had fun last week with the guys out on the field. I thought we got meaningful work in. And then we were able to, you know, get going on Sunday. And again, I really liked where the team was on Sunday. I think these guys are in the right headspace. I you know, understand what Seti's saying. I don't necessarily see it as hungrier. I think we're pretty mission focused here. You know, we feel the sting of the disappointment of a missed result, and we want to get back on the right side of that. And so I think what he's pointing out is, you know, it hurts. but we believe in what we're doing, and these guys have bounced back. And I think it is an opportunity, maybe just in support of what he's saying. I think it's always an opportunity to re-examine process and think, hey, well, what are the things that we did really well in training camp or did really well during the season? Maybe we've lost a little bit. How do we heighten focus in those areas to clean up our play? And so the team's done that, and I've been pleased so far with the week of work. Which in our league, you better prepare the right way, because Saturday is going to be a challenge.
Aria?
LSU is one of, if not the best defense that you will face this year. What's the key to being able to move the ball against, a defense that is as successful as theirs has been?
Yeah, they're that's the strength of their team. They've got talent everywhere, but their defense is elite, and we have to. The way we have success is not worrying too much about them. It's our process, our system, execution of what we do, because we believe in our offense. And so I think we have things, inherent in our system, in our process, that will challenge them too. It's going to be about how we execute, how we create and find the space that's there. They close the space really rapidly. It's how do we create space in the pocket for Diego? How do we commit to that run game that we need more out of in the second half against Alabama? And how do we also have the patience, because they're going to get us off schedule at times. A defense like this is so disruptive. There are going to be times where we're going to look up and it's 2nd and 12, because of a TFL. It's about just staying patient and trusting in who we are and what we do. And I believe in our guys, and if we go out and execute, we'll find the plays we need to find to win.
Chris?
I know the numbers haven't always supported it, but their offense has got a lot of talent. The quarterback, the receiving, the tight end rooms. What do you think are the biggest challenges about defending them?
Well, the quarterback's really good, and I thought he played really well against us a year ago. One of the things about him too is, we have him at 20 miles an hour on the GPS. He's athletic. If you have open lanes in your pass rush, he's gonna find ways through and can hurt you running too. But obviously his skill set is getting the ball out quickly. I think he avoids sacks as good as anyone in the country, because he knows where to go with the ball. He's throwing it to really talented people. And so when you talk about their tight end room and what they've set it on that way, when you talk about the receiver room and the speed and the talent on the field, again, you have to play disciplined in your structure, and in so many ways be willing to absorb yards and fight against points. What I've starting this morning talking to the team about is just, do we have the patience? Do we have the patience to fight for every blade of grass? Do we have the patience to execute as the field space tightens in the red zone? And a lot of what we've done to this point in the season says that we do, but executing, playing within our structure. Look, South Carolina misfits a run and it rips for 50 plus yards. That's a reality. So all these guys they have are dangerous. They're all talented people. It's about how we limit them based off our structure, playing together, playing team defense, and then can we be opportunistic on third downs? If you look back at the Alabama game, you'd say that's where we want to improve performance, getting off the field. We have to create possession time for our offense. This is going to be two methodical offenses, and so possessions are going to be hard to come by. We need to fight for those possessions with our defense, getting the ball back to our offense so that we can get in rhythm and hopefully have success that way.
Graham?
Sort of piggybacking off of that, how important do you feel it is, for your defensive line or maybe defense as a whole to sort of get home and apply pressure to Nussmeier?
It's important, obviously he does a good job getting rid of the ball. So that's, sometimes that's going to be getting hands up and hoping to impact the flight of the ball. If you can steal an incompletion that way, that's great. If you can speed up his timing, right? He does a good job when he sees it clearly getting the ball out, but if we can somehow speed up that operation. I think a lot of the pressure comes down to those critical third down or conversion down snaps where, can we find a way to manipulate a protection, to get a free runner, or compress a pocket, on a third and long situation where routes can't develop to the sticks. That becomes the way to win the game. He's going to make it hard on you on early downs just because of how smart he is and how well he sees the field. But there will be opportunities for us in determined pass downs to create a little push, and that's been a focus for our defensive line. How do we crush the pocket? We cannot compromise pass rush lane because, like I said, he will hurt you running, but we need to try to make space hard to come by for him in the pocket.
Grace.
Coach, coming back home, first SEC game in your stadium this year, how do you think being at home in the environment that your home stadium has brought this year invigorates your team and really gives them that extra push, especially in competitive games like this?
It's always fun to play at home, and for so many reasons. A big one of which is you get a chance to play in front of a home crowd, home students who for 2 years running have shown up for us, and that is meaningful to us. At the end of the day, whether you're playing in front of 100,000 plus on the road or you're playing in front of your home crowd, the game's between the lines, and so we don't want to allow the environment to impact how we play, but we hope to inspire people to show up for us in the way we play. And when you can compete in front of your home crowd, and when we've won games, big games in our stadium, it's been fun to celebrate that with our students, our band, our fans, our community. All of that's meaningful to us, and so I'm excited to see what the stadium looks like on Saturday. We've had these games in the past where it feels like a road game when you're at home, and I hope our fan base is ready to show up and cheer loud for the home team. And obviously, if it's not that way, we don't allow that to affect us. We got a chip on our shoulder no matter what. I hope that the Nashville community, the Vanderbilt community, again sees the efforts the team's putting in to make them proud and reciprocates that by showing up and cheering loud for us.
Chris.
You talk a lot about complementary football with your special teams and your offense being so good. Does that change the way that you approach defense in your calls, or maybe allow you more flexibility? Like what has changed as those parts of your team have gotten better over the last couple of years?
It's interesting because I think there's times where we can be aggressive. We haven't had issues scoring points this year, and so I just don't believe that the formula in our league changes that much for us. So we say game control offense. That means that we're winning time of possession and we're finishing drives with touchdowns. That is central to our DNA. We're a methodical offense. We want to. The best way to limit points in the opposition is to keep the opponent's offense on the sideline, and when we're a point limitation defense, that just means that we're going to battle all the way up until the last blade of grass and hope to force a field goal at the end. But obviously what we want, because of how we've grown and developed offensively, is try to generate those possessions earlier and more often, meaning can we get to 3 and outs, can we get off the field on third down. And when we've done that this season, when we've turned the ball over defensively, it's allowed us to separate. That's been the phases working together offensively. The performance and the efficiency has allowed us to create distance between us and the opponent. So when we click in place and the 3 phases are playing in service of one another, that's where you eliminate the margins of the game. When we're not playing that way, obviously we got to be able to win close games as well. And again, I think this is maybe the 3rd time I talked about the Alabama game, but that's an example of a scenario where we just did not make the plays offensively that we needed to make in those critical moments. And then you can also say there was a 4th and 7 snap defensively that we could have gotten off the field that ultimately led to the first touchdown. there were opportunities later in the game where we absorbed a lot of time of possession and yards where, you know, we have to make a play to try to get the ball back to the offense with good field position. So the formula doesn't change. It's still complementary. It's still three phases interlocked. I think when all three phases are firing at the level that we are capable of, that's where we've been able to get up a couple scores and put games away late. And so that becomes kind of represents how dangerous this team can be when, again, we're playing a certain way.
Kevin?
We're talking to Zaylen Wood after practice today. How much do you appreciate a guy like him who's played almost 60 college football games through injuries and everything else, and just what, you know, the value that he brings to that D line and your team?
Yeah, Zaylen is first of all, a great human. He's been a life force in this program. I mean, I made comment to he and Corday, this was in training camp, maybe right at the end, or maybe right at the beginning of the season, I forget, I can't imagine this program without those two guys, you know, and the idea that they didn't start here, you know, it's like, it feels like they've been here for 15 years. And obviously we didn't get Zaylen a year ago because he got injured, you know, in the season, but he's steady, he's consistent, he practices so hard, he makes his teammates better, he's competitive, but he's a good person. And I think the more we say better people make a better team, he's a great example of that. And not only is he a good person, he's like a really good football player too. So he's a misfit just like we all are. You know, he's a chip on the shoulder guy just like we all are. He's a perfect fit for this program in this moment, and we're lucky to have him.
We'll go Graham and finish up with Chris.
Over the bye week, Jordan Matthews officially joined your guys' staff as an offensive consultant. What does it mean to have a guy like him officially a part of the staff?
It means a lot, you know, and Jordan has had a great football playing career. He's, you know, like I consider myself the same kind of psycho, like he's a special kind of psycho that finishes a grinder of a career and jumps right into college coaching. You know, he loves it. I appreciate that in him. I appreciate the fact that, you know, when I pull in to do my little workout in the weight room, he's out in the field running routes still. You know, I mean, that's just who he is. But he's got an infectious spirit. He cares about the development of young people. He's a good person, and he loves football, loves the game. He's dedicated his life to it. But maybe most importantly to me is that he loves Vanderbilt, you know, and you just can't put a price on that. I mean, he's a guy that's lived it in his career, but he comes back because he believes in what this place can be, and there's so many ways that can have positive impact on what we're doing and where we're going, and so, yeah, I'm grateful to have him.
Last question, Chris.
Kind of a two-part question about your secondary. I think Martell played more than he has on the back end. I know Colby was banged up or cramping in that game, so how's maybe the health of your secondary? And also, you've got 18 sacks and you've gotten pass rushes with several different guys. How does that impact your play on the back end, getting to the passer with several guys and maybe cutting down the windows?
Yeah. Well, first of all, obviously pass rush and coverage are complementary. So if you're tight in coverage and the quarterback's got to clutch the ball, you're going to help your rush. If your rush is speeding up the process of the quarterback, you're going to help your coverage. And we're not afraid to give up some space. You know, that's just, you know, we're not gonna live and die by the explosive touchdown. It's just not. That's not how we're gonna play. So when you can concede space in the secondary but be protecting on the vertical shots, you can, you know, make it really frustrating for an offense. And then, you know, when you can do that, changing your secondary shells and create a little bit of hesitation in the quarterback, obviously you can, your pass rush shortening it down helps a ton. It helps eliminate the space that's available. So those things go hand in hand. I think there's also been a nice design there to attack protection, and I think Steve and Larry and Javon have done a good job, you know, really putting our guys in positions to be successful. In terms of health, I mean, Marlon Jones and Mark Davis ended up not playing against Alabama. Colby just cramped, so he's fine. Mark has been back in practice, so he's anticipated available this weekend, dealing with some lingering soreness, really. And Mark's as tough as they come. I mean, this guy's been through so much. That guy knows his body, and he's going to do everything he can to be out there. And he just, wasn't able to get through practice the Alabama week, and needed the bye week to kind of get back healthy. But he's in good position now. Marlon's still coming back from a hamstring, so hopefully, he can work his way to available. Did not practice today. He ran and he trained, but wasn't out there with us for the football work. So we've got to give that time. Otherwise, we're in good shape in that room. And Martell did play more at corner. I think we, the deeper we go into some more, we realize like we need him to be a great coverage player for us. And when push comes to shove, in our conference play, like we need him to be a sticky corner that can challenge routes and making sure he gets snap exposure in practice, and reps in the game are an important part of ensuring that he's the player that we need him to be here through the middle of the teeth of our schedule. So that was intentional, and we'll continue that plan, and he'll still have snaps on offense too, and obviously snaps as the returner, but we want him to be a really good corner for us. So feel good about depth. Obviously, like any team mid-season, a little bumped and bruised, but guys are coming back, and on the whole, we're maintaining our depth.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.